In this video, we're going to be replacing our rear view camera in this 2015 Hyundai Sonata. All right, what we're going to need to do is remove this trim piece here on the bottom of our deck lid. To do that, we're going to use a Phillips bit in these clips. We're not going to put any inward pressure on these clips. We're just going to rotate them out. Once you get them out to a certain point, take your panel tool and pop your clips out. If you spin these out far enough, sometimes you can take them out by hand. Sometimes they don't want to come out at all. I'm going to back it up with the panel tool so the back doesn't spin. I'm just going to spin the center out a little more. At this point, once you take this out, this piece will move around a little bit, but it'll be held in place for the most part. Just be prepared for it to slide around a little. Okay, now right here on our pull handle, you can see when we move this trim piece here, it's stuck behind this handle. So if you take your panel tool or a small pocket screwdriver right here and pry up this cover that says pull, lift that up, you'll find 2 Phillips screws. We're going to take those out now. And now your trim piece here is free. We can take it down over our bump stops and over our latch. Pull them around the hinges. And off the vehicle. All right, so our rear view camera assembly is here. It's also attached to our lock cylinder here. So what we're going to do is remove this silver plate or the back half of our lock cylinder. We're going to use a 10mm socket. We're going to back out these nuts. And we can work this lock cylinder down and off, like so. All right, so now we can move forward on removing our rear view camera. So this entire black plastic piece right here is going to come out. So you see we have some metal clips right here. Okay, so these clips are going to need to be pushed in while you push the assembly outward. There's a few clips all the way around. There's one under here as well. Just going to push that clip in and push the unit out. And there's got to be a few on top as well. And for this, I'm just going to use a right angle pick tool. So what we're going to try and do is unplug this plug here. Just to give ourselves a little bit more room. That gives us a tiny bit more room to work on top. And what you can also do is once you get it to a certain point, you can see if you can work it out from the outside. Now from the outside, you can see we got a good amount of movement from the bottom. We're just going to come outside with our panel tool and work it out the rest of the way. And pull our plug out as well. Now if you only have a rear view camera, these would be your 4 screws to replace your rear view camera. If you have this whole assembly, there you go. Okay, so from here, we're going to remove our rear view camera with these 4 Phillips screws. And what you can do is push on your camera from the front. Slide your camera and your screws straight out. Flip it over to take your screws out. And there you have your camera and harness. Okay, to install your camera, what you're going to want to do is either take your new gasket or your old gasket and line it up, and it'll only go in one way. Take your camera, same thing, it's only going to go in one way. This notch in the top is going to line up with the notch on this assembly here. And we're just going to rotate it into position. Press down, take a look in the front, make sure it's seated all the way. And once you're sure you're in all the way, we can start reinstalling our Phillips screws. Now this is a plastic to plastic thread, so no need to over torque these, you will strip them out. So what I'm doing is just crisscrossing, trying to bring this piece in even and flat. And then we'll take one more trip around, just make sure everything's tight. All right, now we can bring it to the vehicle, and put it back in place. Now that you have your camera and handle assembly put together, you can go ahead and put it through the hole here with the wiring first. And this is just going to be a push fit. Okay, so once it's lined up in the hole, we're just going to push in until it clips into place. All right, so now once we have our cable hanging here and our assembly back in place, what we can do is install our lock cylinder back in. All right, so our lock cylinder is going to go on the 2 studs here and through the hole on the handle. All right, before you lock it down, just want to check the outside to make sure it is in position correctly. And we can take our 10mm nuts and thread them on. And with our 10mm socket, we'll just snug them up. Once the lock cylinder is complete, we can plug in our electric handle. And then we can plug in our power and camera cable. Okay, so we're going to reinstall our trunk panel here. All right, so the first thing we have to do is take our side pieces and put them over the hinge. Just going to open it up here and just slide it over the hinge. And now we can rotate this up and into position. Put it over our bumpers here on both sides. And to hold everything in place, we're going to put our 2 Phillips screws back in here. I'm just going to put that in a couple of turns. I'm going to locate the other one. Because right now there's a little space in here where you can see. Just want to make sure we're lined up there. And now we can thread these in. And we can close this up. Now that panel's not going to go anywhere on you. We can work on putting our push pins in. To keep it even, we'll start at the bottom. All right, now at this point, you want to go ahead and check your electronics, make sure the camera signal, everything's working the way it should. If everything's good, you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.